Earle and Veronika, welcome.
Hello, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Everyone.
Doing very well. How's the weather today in Ukraine?
Well,
Actually, we're not in Ukraine right now.
Where are you guys?
right now when it's Corona, normally we're traveling back and forth from Denmark and from Ukraine because I've been living in Denmark for the last 13 years, and then when this Corona hit, we were kind of this side of the border, and then we had to kind of choose: do we stay here? Do we go there? Where do we go? Because we're going to get stuck no matter where we are.
Oh, well, in that case, how's the weather in Denmark?
Cold.
Cold.
Very cold.
Today's
very
first
cold.
time it was minus.
Yeah, this morning when we woke up, it was just ice everywhere. There was white fog. Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get right into it. Let's talk about the European Championship that happened just a few months ago. When you realized that you made the final of the European Championships just a few months ago, what was going through your head?
Well, I can say, at least from my side, I mean, it was a huge experience. Also because of just the whole situation and because of how the world was and all of the uncertainty. I mean, for us, the previous year, we had danced our first ever together European Championship final and also World Championship final. So, of course, we were hoping, to make the final again this year. But then the dates being moved, there was so much up in the air about whether the competition could even be held. And then finally, for it actually to be held and be standing there and then be calling us on the floor for the final, it was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing. It's really, really cool.
It's always very nice to dance finals of such big events, of different European or World Championships, because the atmosphere, of course, this tension throughout the entire day, and you're getting tired and it's quite tough. But then when finally you get to the final and you have solo dances and you have people cheering for you and you have all this awesome lighting and everything, that's just great. It was really awesome to dance.
I mean, for us, we had a lot of people there that were supporting us because, of course, I have a lot of students here in Denmark. I mean, we have a lot of students here in Denmark.
Sure,
and
yes.
as well, also from Ukraine as well. We had a whole bus that came from Ukraine together with Ukrainians.
Oh, this was this totally separate story.
A big fan section.
Yeah.
Cheerleader.
Давай, Veronika!
The issue was, I have I call them family. They're my students and my colleagues, but I call them family.
It's a big dance family.
Yeah, these people, they are following me since 2013. So
Oh, wow. Impressive.
Championships.
They're a hardcore fan base, let's put it that way.
You're cheerleaders, you know.
Cheerleaders, yes.
No, but
We're just missing the halftime performances, and then
That's right. We have to
You guys can choreograph that.
during
for them, I'm
nationals
sure.
or world championships, we need to do a nice halftime performance.
and
We have, like Anna said, bring Beyonce.
Beyonce, maybe even I'm thinking a mascot as well. I don't know.
We
I've
could do
always
that.
Of course.
We could.
my American side of me has always loved eagles, so let's go with an eagle mascot as well.
Eagle, we do that. The bald eagle, yes.
No, but if we speak seriously, then these people, our students and our colleagues, and also including my mom, my trainer, they're usually following us everywhere on our main competitions of the year. I mean, me before with my previous partner, and now also together with Earle. And it was a huge issue because all the borders during European Championship were closed. So basically, no one could get out of Ukraine to travel.
You didn't have the fans, all the support.
No, but this time, even it was not allowed, they somehow figured out the way. They drove for 26 hours. They had a special road throughout entire Europe just to arrive to our European Championship and cheer for us. So
That is an amazing family. That's commitment.
Like
That was
it was a
hardcore.
commitment, and so we had half a hall was with the Danish flags, and the other half of the hall was
With
with
Ukrainian.
Ukrainian flags. So honestly, it was a great atmosphere, and even it was tough, but it was still not enough of dancing. We wanted to dance even more and more.
It's really quite a strange feeling. I think anyone who's actually competed in a world championship final, it's you have so much build up to this moment, and then you're finally there. You're dancing this final, and it's almost surreal. It's like you just want it to last longer, but the minutes just go away like so fast, and then you're standing there and you're like, oh my God, we did it. We were in the final. It's like, whoa. Yeah, it's pretty surreal.
It was good.
Wow.
It was nice. I can very, very highly recommend it for anyone.
Make the final of the European or World Championship. You will enjoy it.
Yes.
I bet. One day we'll get there.
We'll see.
Now, this question is meant a little bit more for Earle.
Mhm.
As you were growing up through your childhood, did you ever imagine that one day you would be sharing the floor of a final of a European Championship with your brother and sister?
You know, it's funny actually, because I mean, people who know of me and who know of my family, we're all pretty dance crazed, you could say. I mean, I'm one of 4 siblings, and we all dance on a very, very high level. And it was funny because when we were growing up and we were dancing in, actually at that point, I was born in USA, and then I grew up in Australia. And then after Australia, I moved to Denmark. And so when I was dancing my juvenile career and junior career in Australia, you know, Errol, he was always kind of one category under me. And Amy, she was just tiny at that point. She was just doing her medalist program.
Right.
And Errol, actually, he was the first one that came up with it in the family. He came to my mom and dad and he said, you know, Mom, Dad, I was thinking. And they're like, okay, yeah, what is it, Errol? And then they said, you know, well, actually, when we're older, I want, you know, then we can all just be 1, 2, 3, 4 in the final.
There you go.
So after for the World Championship, you know, it's fine. Then we can just do like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after the first one's won, then it's no problem. Then they can you know stop, and then the second one can win, and then we'll just continue like that. And I think he was 8 years old or something like this by that point. But it was so funny, and actually
It's cute.
Ever since then, it's just been kind of a laughing joke inside of our family. You know, could it actually happen? And then,
it's true.
And then now, actually, it's made it a little bit easier now that Errol and Amy are dancing together. So at least it's not 3 couples, but it's only 2 couples.
So one more person has a chance to be on the podium.
It's like the ultimate sibling rivalry.
Yeah. Which sibling?
Exactly. But I mean, in the end, I mean, we train very, very hard, and we're quite lucky, I guess, in this way, the fact that we train on a day-to-day basis next to also Errol and Amy when we're here in Denmark. And in this way, we're here to be able to push each other at the level and be able to push each other to reach new heights. And of course, at the same time, afterwards, we're brother and sisters again. I mean, you know, my younger sister will always be my younger sister. I mean, so I still get to tease her. And
family before everything, yes.
Exactly. But in this way, I think in my family, when we're professional and we're on and we do the job 100%. And then, of course, we just forget it. And as soon as we're outside of the hall, we had
goes back to family.
We had Thanksgiving last night together with all my family, and you know, it was nice. So you know, in this way, it's good that we're able to actually still talk shop, you can say, with the dancing, but at the same time, we enjoy it and are a family at the same time.
That's true. It's beautiful.
So, if you could learn another language, what would it be and why? That's a good question.
Tell us. Ever since I was a small kid, I had this really this like fascination with like Russian or you know Eastern European language.
Right.
For me, it sounded so foreign, and it was so just strange compared to what I grew up with. Because of course, growing up in America, English, Australia, also English, slightly different, but still English technically. And then, of course, coming to Denmark, it was like a huge eye-opener in terms of, oh my gosh, there can actually be another language as well. But I still had this always this fascination with Russians. And and Eastern European language, you can say in this way, because every time, whenever I was growing up, going to, even as a junior competitor, going to Blackpool or going to the World Championships, or you hear Russian all the time, like all the time. It doesn't matter which country they represent. There's some Russian who's a part of the public. But so for me, I looked at them and I was really, really, really jealous, because I wanted to be able to speak this strange language that no one else could understand. But then I started to actually understand that, well, if half the world speaks Russian, then everyone understands them. It's just me that can't understand.
Right, that's true.
So, and now, of course, since actually partnering up together with Veronika, I've started to have the chance of actually starting to learn Ukrainian. And so I would say the language that I would like to learn the most is actually Ukrainian. Because
and the reason is because he wants to communicate with my mom.
That's so sweet.
Is this predicting the future somewhere?
Never know.
Because my mom, of course, she's a judge and she's a trainer, and she understands English, but as most of the people in Ukraine, she is not doesn't have a courage to speak English. So in the end, when she has some dancing comments to me or Earl, she says it in Ukrainian or in Russian. And then Earl is just looking at her with the big eyes, and he's like, "Did you say I was good or I was bad?"
I understand.
I've been
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and also, I mean, for example, when we're in Ukraine and I'm training also some of the students there and things, that her mom, she has a very big club there in Uzhhorod. And when I'm working together with some, especially the younger kids, they also don't speak English at all. So I need to somehow also communicate with them.
Find a way, right, to communicate.
And just, be a part of the local culture and things like this. You have to understand the language. I mean, when I first came to Uzhhorod, I remember I tried to take a taxi. I didn't understand anything. And the taxi driver didn't understand anything. I had to try to call Veronika and get her to speak to the taxi driver to even say the name of the address where I needed to go. And now actually I can take a taxi, I can say the numbers, I can communicate even on
impressive. Congratulations, that's nice.
So I wouldn't say I can speak the language yet, but it's definitely on my list of to-dos, and I definitely want to take more and more time to be able to learn it. So, it's a fantastic country.
Ukrainian.
Yeah, Ukrainian.
That's amazing. All right, so I'm sorry, continue.
No, for me, I really would like to start actually speaking Danish, because
Danish, nice.
Because I know a few languages, but
okay, when she says a few languages, this you have to understand, yeah. So she says to me, she's like, yeah, I speak, just a little bit of this and that, and I was like, oh, okay, so what do you speak? And she's like, well, I speak English, and I speak Ukrainian, and I speak Russian, and I was like, oh, okay, perfect. But I speak Slovakian.
No, I understand Slovakian.
And I speak German. And I also, I can actually speak also Italian as well. And
Italiano, parli italiano?
So, and now she basically, when she came to Denmark, already after, it was on our first training camp. It was after 1 month of dancing together. And I'm like, literally, I walk up to my sister and Bjorn, my sister Ashli and Bjorn, and I say like, okay, guys, let's just speak a little bit of Danish here and watch. And they're like, what? What do you mean? And I was like, and I was speaking, da-da-da. And then I turned to Veronika and I was like, okay, so what were we speaking about? And she said like word for word what it was we said. She had never heard Danish in her life and she understood it. I was like, are you kidding me?
That's so funny.
But the issue is I can understand when people speak, but again, I don't have enough courage actually to speak back in Danish.
But we're standing in the middle of a parking lot in Germany, and she's saying, no. We were just having a huge conversation after we were driving back from a training camp. We were parked there, and we needed to get direction somewhere, and we had no idea. We were a little bit lost. And she's just been telling me how she doesn't speak German, she can't speak German, everything. I was like, you speak German? She's like, no, I don't. So then we stop. All of a sudden, somebody knocks on the window, says in German, hey, do you want some help, blah, blah, blah. She has a 5-minute conversation with them in German.
Oh my gosh.
That's so
It
funny.
understands exactly where we need to go, what we need to do. And then I turned to her, I'm like, you don't speak German? She's like, no.
You don't. Where did this come from? Excuse me. Are we gonna pretend like this didn't happen? She's humble.
No, it's just, I can actually, I figure out about myself, I can do many things under pressure. If I have no other choice, then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna speak any language I ever heard if I need. But if I have a solution to speak English, then I always go from the easier side.
But let's just put it this way, Veronika, she has an amazing ear for languages. So I think for her, when
that's an amazing skill set to have as a human being. That I applaud you for that, Veronika.
You guys just need a schedule, you know?
A schedule.
You need a schedule to learn, you know, like on Mondays you'll speak Ukrainian, Tuesdays you'll speak Danish, you know, if you don't really
in one day.
you don't really speak any, you know, too bad, you're gonna learn, you know.
For breakfast we speak German. For lunch we're gonna speak Italian. For dinner,
you know, just
Ruski.
repetition. There you go.
You're joking right now, but actually 2 years ago, I had some little injury, so I didn't spend so much time with the dancing, like practicing as many hours as I could. And actually, I made a schedule for myself that in the morning I was reading German book, in the afternoon I was reading Italian book, and in the evening I was taking something in English. So actually, it's not a joke. I was doing it.
Wow. Here, I will give you a quick Italian lessons. If there are any other Italians on board, I'm sorry, I'm correct. You need to learn Forza Juventus. Okay? It's the #1 soccer team. Don't let anybody else tell you difference. Forza Juve.
I have a feeling there might be a few people from Napoli and some of the other teams that, you know, AC Milan, you know, things like this might be slightly disagreeing.
That will stop watching now.
If Gabriele Goffredo is on, who's also Juventino, who's Forza Juventus, he's gonna back me up. Forza Juventus, always.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right, guys. So for our final question, I'd like to ask you, Earl, where in the U.S. did you grow up?
Well, actually, I mean, for me, you can kind of say I was born in California, in Northern California, in Sylmar, which is I guess, small city. I've never actually been to Sylmar, but I looked it up when I was over there in California, and you know, it's a very small city apparently. But I moved when I was very young, about 18 months old. So of course I didn't really know California at that time. I moved to Idaho, and Idaho, in a little rural country town of which is, I believe at that point there was maybe around 10,000 people or something like this. That was the size of the city. My mom, she had a dancing school there, and my father, he had a job he was working with there and everything. And then basically from there, then we had a very, very brief stunt because my father, he got a job in Provo in Utah. And so actually my mom, she ended up, and she was like, okay, this is crazy. I have a dancing school here. I'm here with the kids, but my father, he was working 5-6 days of the week in a complete another city by himself. So she said, this is ridiculous. Let's just move there. And then, you know, maybe I can try to find work there, things like this. Then we moved there. And then my father's company went bankrupt.
My Italian teacher just commented.
Oh, yes.
On the live stream. My Italian teacher just commented.
We'd like to give a nice hello to Cristiana. Buonasera. Forza Juventus.
And then actually from there, then the company that my dad had been working for, he was like regional manager or something like this. It went bankrupt all of a sudden. And so then he stood there without a job. My mom was without a job. We had just moved to another city. We had completely nothing, basically, had built up a life in that city. And then my mom said, because my mom's Australian, and she said, okay, this is ridiculous. We're here, we're fighting to try to find work, everything like this. Let's try, I've been here in America 20 years. Let's go to Australia for 20 years and try our luck there. And then that's basically how we ended up then moving to Australia. and then after one year of absolutely terrorizing our parents about how much we wanted to dance, we completely stopped dancing when we moved to Australia, all of us. After 1 year, we were like, come on, we want to dance, we want to dance, we want to dance. Then finally, my mom was like, okay, fine then, start dancing. And then from then on, we've just been dancing our whole lives, all of us.
Oh, wow. Okay. That is beautiful. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you later on in this marathon.
No problem.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
thank you.